Hey, I'm Herald sports writer Manny Navarro.
And I'm Fernandez.
And this is another edition of the Gridiron Report. All right, Jason, we're here at McArthur High School, one of the best stories of the young season.
Yeah.
Winless last season, 3-0 this season.
Yeah, much better. But the start of the turnaround here under Coach Laurent Culpepper. We've seen these guys. It's a nice-looking team. If you look at them, they got some athletes here. They always have had athletes here, as we've talked about before. It's just a matter of who's running the show, the cohesion, keeping the kids here at McArthur High School. Obviously, in the last couple of years, you've seen a lot of them flock to different schools, but it looks like now they're sticking around, and they might be starting something special here. I mean, that district they're in is wide open. It's a 15-7A. It's theirs for the taking so far.
Tremendous job by Laurent Culpepper so far, but like you said earlier, it's not about just going 3-0. They want to go 10-0 win the district.
They have big goals. Let's see if they can meet them.
This week they get South Broward. Let's make that our first game of the week. Your thoughts on that game?
I think it's a winnable game again. I mean, they've shown so far, it's a good defensive team that hasn't given up a lot of points. They seem like they're disciplined on that side of the football, and I think they can make it 4-0 so far for the Mustangs.
All right, another game Friday night, kind of a nice Broward matchup. Plantation and Miramar. It looks like they're basically fighting for that runner-up spot behind Flanagan in District 12-8-8. Talk about that matchup. Who do you like in that one?
I'm a little jealous because I'm sending you to that one because I have a big game myself that night. I wish they were on different nights so I can see them both. But I mean, it's a talented, great matchup. First of all, Plantation's done a good job. They didn't look so hot again, but it was St. Thomas last week. Not a lot of teams do. And Coach Steve Davis does a great job there. They're going to be in the fight. I think this game decides one of the playoff spots. The popular thought is this will be the runner-up to Flanagan. We'll see it down the road, but I like what Pierre Fernandez is doing at Miramar. It hasn't shown so much yet because they played two tremendous teams to start the season. Now it's a more winnable game for these Patriots who look like they're starting to get on a roll. They had a lopsided win over Monarch, and I'm taking Miramar.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sticking with Pierre Fernandez in that game. Not because I don't like Plantation. I think it's going to be a nip-and-tuck ball game. I just think Miramar being at home, that could be the difference in this game.
Yeah.
All right, Thursday night, we get started in Dade County with Miami High at Columbus. This is an important district game for Miami High.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Miami High's got to get at least one of these games, whether it's this one or Coral Gables. They didn't look so good against Southwest. They may have lost their quarterback, Marcelo Rodriguez. Regardless, I think Columbus is too much for them in this game. That hasn't wavered for me.
I like the 4 o'clock kickoff, by the way. I like after
at Columbus.
At Columbus, on campus.
Yep.
All right, Goldman at Sunset. I know most people would probably laugh. What are you doing talking about Goldman at Sunset? But this is could be a playoff spot on the line here.
It's interesting because it's another district, 16-7A. There's 9 teams in it. I think matters the front runner there, but beyond that, I think it's a wide open race. There's a few teams that right now, early in the season, are jockeying for position there to try and get into that upper tier. This is a big game. I think Goldman has that offense. We all know it looks like a rugby scrum, but it's effective. And in a setting like that at Sunset, it's going to get a choppy field, great for running the football. I think they can come out with a victory.
I'm going to pick Sunset, and we visited Sunset last year. We met with their coach down there. I'm picking the Knights. They're at home. It's an afternoon game. It's time to rise to the occasion.
They might. They beat South Miami last week.
Sunset was my rival in high school, by the way. I want you to know that. Back when Brighton and Sunset were big-time rivals. All right.
Yeah.
Friday, September 18th, the rest of the slate, Coconut Creek at American Heritage. That's where you will be Friday.
That's what's keeping me away from Miramar, and obvious reasons, because that's going to be a star-studded matchup. I can't wait to see it. I saw Heritage against DeMatha. They came up a little short in that game, but a great effort there. Showed you how well that defense is. A lot of youngsters on that defense that are making a name for themselves. I think this is another chance for them for sure against an All-American squad like Creek. It's going to be close. They'll get their points, Creek will, but I think Heritage will end up coming out on top.
Yeah, I can't see the Patriots losing at home. As good as Coconut Creek is, and as much as I enjoy watching them play, I think Heritage is the better team, and they're going to prove themselves, especially depth-wise.
Yeah.
Varela at Southwest, 7:30 kickoff, Tropical Park. Another important district game.
It is, because Varela, believe it or not, right now they're 2-0 as well, and they weren't talked about too much as being in that upper tier of the district, but this is their chance. If they can shock the Eagles here, they can make something out of it. But Southwest, 3-0, they had a sloppy game last week against NMB. They actually didn't look that pretty against Miami High either, but they keep finding a way to win. I think they do the same thing this week.
I'm with you. I think Southwest wins that game as well. All right, Coral Gables, Killian, Southridge High School kick. That's where the game's going to be played at Southridge. 7:30 kickoff on Friday.
I think Coral Gables is the better team in this matchup this year because Killian is young. They're trying to get things together, but expect a physical game because those Killian kids are going to fight. They're going to be, it's going to be very tough. But it'll be kind of close, but I think in the end, the running game of Coral Gables and the defense will make enough plays for the Cavaliers to come out top.
I'm calling for a bounce-back game for Killian. I think, this is an important game to them just to develop some pride. Like you said, they have some young players there. I know that There's talent there. This is the type of game that they'll show up and win.
It would be a huge bounce back, that's for sure.
Champagnat Catholic, your alma mater, at Dade Christian. I guess a playoff spot's on the line here, right?
Yeah, I would say so, because those two are matching up against Glades Day in that district, and that won't be easy. But the winner of this, basically, this is a must-win game for those two, just to have a chance to later compete for the title. I'm going to surprise some people right here, and I'm going to pick the Crusaders. I think Dade Christian had a couple of bad years.
They just revoked the Champagnat card.
They're 4-0 right now, and they have beaten the 4 teams they play. Granted, maybe not the greatest competition in the world, but they're at home. I think, after seeing Champagnat lose and give up 75 points a few weeks ago.
They did this to you at Champagnat.
It's not. I'm hurt after those 75 points.
Listen, I like Champagnat, but I'm picking Dade Christian. They're the better team. That's simple. Okay. Saturday, Central Norland. This might be the district championship game.
Yeah, it could be. Well, Carroll City would beg to differ.
Hey, listen, I understand Carroll City, but Central Norland, these are the two best teams right now.
Beg to differ. I mean, they just went up and beat the Dreadnoughts at their place, but that's down the road. Specifically, this matchup, two best defenses in town, if you ask me right now. I think it comes down to who can make enough plays on offense, and until I'm convinced otherwise, I think the Rockets are getting things together after that DeMatha loss, and you're going to see it a little more this week.
14-0 Central. All right, Southridge versus Booker T at Trash. Booker T 1-2. I can't remember the last time I said that.
I know. I don't either. They haven't been 1-2 in at least 5 years. I mean, it's got to be a weird feeling over there for those guys. Got to be a humbling feeling too, because they're so used to success over there, and I think the pride's going to come out. I think this is going to be a tough game again. Southridge is good. You saw it against Columbus. But I think Booker T rises up the same way you were picking Sunset earlier to rise up. I think Booker T, this is their chance to defend the sort of home turf of Traz. It's sort of more their home game. And I think, a little bit of pride comes out this week and they get back to 500.
Yeah, Tornadoes bounce back. I agree. They're not going to be 1-3.
I doubt it.
Can they be 1-3?
It could happen, but I doubt it.
Wow. All right, that does it for this week's show. For Andre Fernandez, I'm Manny Navarro. We'll see you next week.